Hello everyone, and welcome to my YNR Daily Spoiler channel. Nick decides it's time to end Matt for good. Nick. How many times, Nick? How many does he get? He drops the phone into the couch and paces. On the table, a manila envelope with photos, a transcript, and the single thing that pushed him past the edge, a video of Matt laughing as someone else is hurt. The laughter is the smoking gun. Nick. Voice breaking, then hardening. You made a career of breaking lives. Not anymore. He opens the drawer and pulls out an old letter, one he wrote to himself years ago when he swore he wouldn't become a monster. He reads a line, then rips the letter in half. Nick. Slow, deliberate. No more second chances. Cut to close-up of the video on his laptop. Matt's face fills the screen, smug, defiant. Nick clicks pause. The decision finds a home in his chest like a splinter. Diner, late night. Nick sits in a booth. A waitress refills his coffee. He barely notices. Across from him sits a detective, unbranded, tired, but with clear lines of duty on his face. Nick slides the folder across the table. Nick. Flat. I want this in the district attorney's hands tomorrow. Every bit of it. Wire transfers, threats, his associates. I want a paper trail that ties him to everything. Detective. Leans back, cautious. You know how this looks. You and Matt go back. There's history. Nick. Eyes cold. History doesn't matter. He's been hiding in plain sight, hurting people. He walks because nobody's bothered to look. So I'll give you something you can't ignore. Detective. And if it isn't enough? If he slips through? Nick. Firm. Then I end it. I make sure he can't hurt anyone ever again. The detective studies Nick, then slides a small recorder and a badge across the vinyl. Detective. You give me the proof. We do this right. No shortcuts. You cross this line, and you don't get to call it justice anymore. Nick stares at the badge, as if memorizing a map back to a place he may never be able to return from. Nick. I know. Backstreet parking garage. Midnight. A liminal space, fluorescent lights. The echo of shoes on concrete. Nick waits near a column. He's in plain clothes, but everything about him is deliberate. Matt arrives, puckish grin like a shark that knows blood is near. Matt. Cheerful, too smooth. Nick. Fancy seeing you here. What's up? You look like the cat that swallowed the canary. Nick. Cold. Cut the act, Matt. You broke too many people. Matt. Raises an eyebrow. I gave people what they wanted, a little pressure, a little persuasion. You sound preachy, Nick. Is this about family? Or that little conscience you're pretending to wear? Nick. You enjoy it. You want everyone to know you're untouchable. Matt. Laughing. Untouchable is a nice word. But you're sentimental. That's your weakness. Always has been. Nick's face hardens. The conversation is a chess match. Both men know the moves. But Nick has grown tired of games. Nick. Very quiet. I want you to stop. Matt. Smiles, mocking. Stop? Buddy, you don't have that power. I play my hand. Nick. Then I'll take it from you. Matt takes a step back. There's a flicker of alarm. He's wrong to underestimate Nick, but he smiles anyway, because he thinks he can charm or bribe his way out of anything. Matt. You think you can just? Nick moves fast. Not a plan, not a premeditated how-to. An instinctive shove born of fury and raw self-preservation. The collision is brief. Matt trips, hits a bollard, stumbles toward the ramp. A single scream cuts the air. Vehicle lights streak below. The scene is messy. It's not cinematic choreography. It's two men in a concrete stomach of a city, and something gives. A slip, a scramble, a splash heard far below. Cut to black. The echo of the splash lingers like a verdict. Loft dawn. Nick returns home like a man who has stayed up all night wrestling ghosts. He knows what he did, but the what is clouded. Was it self-defense? An accident? He watches news footage on his phone. Local businessman missing after altercation. No names yet, no arrests. Just a city waking to rumor. He calls the detective. His hands tremble. He hears the sirens, not for him yet, maybe for the man below. For the first time, he feels the chill of consequences wrap around his neck like a noose. Nick. Voice thin. It happened. He fell. Detective. Stern. We're on it. You need to tell me everything. Now. Nick swallows, starts to speak, then stops. The legal route, the one he had tried to buy, with papers and whispers, feels suddenly inadequate to the shape of what actually occurred. Nick. Bear. I pushed him. It wasn't supposed to. Detective Vio. Stay where you are. Don't leave town. As he hangs up, the magnitude settles in. A life, or the end of one, now rests on a push, a misstep, and 100 small choices that led here. Hospital corridor, day. Quick montage of ambulances, first responders, paramedics running a body into the ER. At the same time, reporters gather outside the DA's office. The city needs an answer. Nick may not be the only person in danger of exposure. Nick meets an attorney in a neutral room. Legal protection offered, walls listening. He's advised to say little, to let the law do its work. The attorney's words are practical. Nick's heart is not. Attorney, you cooperate. You tell your version. We work it. The DA will see the difference between self-defense and Nick. Interrupting, desperate. If he's dead, do you understand what that means? For me. For my kids. For everyone I love. I didn't plan that. Attorney. Then tell the truth. We can help you. Nick looks at the attorney as if scanning for betrayal. The attorney offers no moral judgment, only a path through the machinery. A sterile room. A white sheet. The camera does not linger on gore. Instead it lingers on things that mean more than the body. A scuffed shoe beside a stretcher. A watch stopped at a certain time. The echo of a laugh from a memory. The identity is still being confirmed. Back at Nick's loft, he sits with the photos, the ones that started this spiral. And he begins to understand his own capacity for harm. He wanted to stop a predator. He may have become one. Press conference, day. The DA addresses the press. Nick watches from the back, flanked by his attorney. The room hums. We are investigating an incident last night that resulted in a man missing and presumed to have sustained serious injury. We will follow the evidence wherever it leads. Reporters shout. Nick's phone buzzes. Text from family, friends, exes, all fearing the worst. He silences it and breathes. If Matt lives, there will be a reckoning. If Matt is dead, another kind of reckoning will come knocking that no legal counsel can fully answer. Hospital room, Matt. Night. A twist. Matt is alive. Bruised, disoriented, but alive. He wakes in a narrow hospital room to the beeping of monitors and the cold gaze of a visitor. Not a family member, but a man sent by forces that still orbit Matt's small, dangerous world. He smiles cruelly, even from the edge. Matt. Weak, cruel. Thought I was done for? You're sentimental, Nick. You don't get to kill me and call it justice. He coughs blood and laughs, the sound like a curse. Outside the door, the detective watches the scene, mind turning like gears. The city is not yet done with them. Courtroom teaser, day. Investigations continue. The DA's office discloses that the case will involve witness testimony, forensics, and the full weight of public scrutiny. Nick is both accused and accuser in the court of public opinion. He sits in the gallery, more exposed than he's ever been. We cut between the courtroom and flashbacks. Nick's life with family, banal moments that now glitter like relics of an innocence he's not sure he had. The audience sees a man who tried to do something monstrous in the name of protection. Sympathy and horror are both uncomfortable companions. Final confrontation, rooftop, night. This is not the first rooftop on the show, but it is the one that matters now. Nick goes alone, his silhouette cut against the city. Below, sirens. Above, a moon that knows nothing of human laws. Matt arrives, not yet a man to be pitied, but a man to be reckoned with. He's been through the machine and come out with more venom. Matt. Grinning despite everything. You thought having me fall would make it clean. Chaos doesn't work like that, Nick. People like us, we breed ghosts. Nick. Steady, exhausted. You broke people. You ruined lives. I couldn't live with that anymore. Matt. So you decided to be God. Nick. No. I decided I couldn't watch another person I loved get trampled. I wanted it to stop. Matt. But it didn't stop, did it? It pushed you further. You can't take a life and expect peace. Nick looks at him, the city reflecting in his eyes. For a long beat, nothing moves but the wind. Then, in a moment that feels like all the other moments that led here, they come together in a wordless fight for dominance, for survival. The scuffle is real, clumsy, human. At the edge, Matt slips. This time, there is no splash audible to the audience. Only the sound of a single gunshot in the distance, not from these two men, and the panic that follows. The camera pulls back, refusing to give the audience the final answer. There is ambiguity. Did Nick push? Did Matt lose his footing? Did someone else intervene? Nick staggers back, breath heaving. He looks down, but the rooftop hides as much as it reveals. He doesn't scream. He doesn't flee. He stays, as if by staying he can anchor himself to something moral. Moral aftermath. The episode closes not with a neat ending, but with consequence. The DA convenes a grand jury. News cycles churn. Friends choose sides. Family members who once trusted Nick now glance at him with suspicion. Matt's fate, alive but jailed, missing, or presumed dead, hangs like a bell curve of outcomes the writers will exploit in upcoming weeks. Nick sits in his loft, the city lights glimmering like stars he can't reach. He reflects on the line he crossed, and whether the person who crossed it is still him. Nick, you think you can end a monster and walk away. You think that the world will applaud. But monsters are made of pieces of us. And when we try to lop one off, sometimes the rest bleeds. The camera pulls out. The last image is of Nick's hand closing around an old, half-torn letter, a reminder of the vows he broke, and a promise he might yet try to keep, to face whatever comes, to accept consequence, and to try to be better than his worst act.